A Jamaican reggae singer walks onto the Voice stage in 2013. Within seconds, one chair turns, then another, and then all four coaches are fighting for her. But here's what they didn't know. This woman was about to make history. She would become the first foreign-born winner in the show's history, shattering voting records along the way. But the real story? It's not just about that victory. It's about what came before and the devastating price she almost paid for fame. This is the story of Tessanne Chin, September 20th, 1985, Kingston, Jamaica. A baby girl named Tessanne Amanda Chin enters the world, and honestly, music was already in her blood. Her father, Richard Chin, was a drummer for the Carnations. Her mother, Christine, could sing and play trumpet. And get this, their family home had its own recording studio.
But Tessie and I are the babies of 5, and we have an older sister and 2 older brothers, which a lot of people don't realize as well. And you know, we grew up in a very musical family, but also a very religious, spiritual family.
I mean, imagine growing up where your playground is literally a studio booth. Her older sister Tammy was already making waves as a singer, and Tessanne grew up surrounded by 4 siblings, all immersed in rhythm, melody, and soul.
The evening to sundown the Saturday, we weren't allowed to participate in any kind of, like, Little People weren't allowed to do that show, the Friday show.
Or the Saturday matinee.
We weren't allowed to watch TV. So I think our saving grace was like the radio.
But here's where it gets interesting. The Chin family were strict Seventh-day Adventists. Every Friday evening to Saturday sundown, they observed the Sabbath. No exceptions. Discipline, structure, faith. These weren't just rules. They were the foundation of who Tessanne would become. At just 6 years old, little Tessanne joined Kathy Levy's Little People and Teen Players Club, one of the top performing art schools in Jamaica. Her mother trained her voice. Coach Lacey Wright refined her technique. By the time most kids were learning their ABCs, Tessanne was already learning scales, breath control, and performance. She was being groomed for greatness, but life had other plans. At 12 years old, Tessanne's world turned upside down.
Grandmother was British. My mother had ties to England, and you know, it came at a point in her lives where
family's over there.
Yeah, her family was there, and she, you know, was like, you know, let us try something else.
The family moved to England because of her grandmother's British ties. And suddenly, this Jamaican girl, who had grown up surrounded by music, color, and culture, found herself in a predominantly white area. The culture shock hit hard. She didn't fit in. She didn't look like everyone else. She didn't sound like everyone else. Identity crisis doesn't even begin to cover it.
I remember having to fill out school forms where they asked you what you were. Like,
what
are you Asian? Are you black? Are you white? And I remember thinking, I don't know.
But instead of shrinking back, Tessanne made a choice. She chose to embrace her Jamaican roots even harder. She started writing songs, pouring her feelings, her confusion, her longing for home into lyrics. Music became her refuge, her therapy, her way of saying, I'm still me, no matter where I am. Fast forward. Tessanne's back in Jamaica, and she's hustling. She joins a reggae rock band called Mile High. They're performing at Jazz Fest, Rock Fest on RETV. She's getting her name out there. But then comes the big break. She becomes a backup singer for the legendary Jimmy Cliff. For 3 years, she's behind one of reggae's biggest icons, and along the way, she opens for Patti LaBelle, Peebo Bryson, Gladys Knight. She's learning the game, watching, studying, waiting for her moment. Her moment arrives. She drops her debut single, Hideaway, and it's a hit, playing on Caribbean radio, hitting New York airwaves, getting featured on Reggae Gold 2007. The follow-ups keep coming. Black Books in 2007, Messenger, and Broken Melody in 2008. By 2010, she's ready. She releases her independent debut album, In Between Words, produced by Rudy Valentino and Paul Groove Galore Castic.
Cut down your sister with your piercing melody.
She's building momentum. She's building a name. She's building a career. But behind the scenes, her personal life is starting to crack. In 2011, Tessanne marries Michael Anthony Cuff Jr., a broadcaster. On paper, it looks perfect, but in reality, the music industry doesn't care about your marriage vows. The late nights in the studio, the tours, the constant grind, the pressure to make it, all of it starts chipping away at their relationship. Tessanne's caught between 2 loves, her husband and her music, and slowly, quietly, cracks begin to form. But she pushes forward, because that's what you do when you're chasing a dream, right? September 2013. A phone call changes everything. Shaggy, yes, that Shaggy, reaches out to Tessanne. You need to audition for The Voice, he tells her. Season 5 is casting, and he knows she's got what it takes. September 24th, 2013. Blind audition day. Tessanne steps onto that stage and sings Pink's Try, and within seconds, Adam Levine hits his button, then CeeLo Green, then Christina Aguilera, then Blake Shelton, all 4 chairs. The coaches are spinning around, jaws dropping, fighting over her.
It's just surreal to have been a part of something like that, and I give God thanks every day that I had the opportunity to experience that. But people come up to me all the time and they tell me what it means to them, or that they just don't watch The Voice again, and I'm just like, wow. I had no idea that it would have been like that, and I'm grateful.
Tessanne chooses Adam Levine, and just like that, her journey begins. But this wasn't just a journey, this was a takeover. She sings Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing. It shoots to #1 on iTunes. She performs Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. #1 again. America is obsessed. Jamaica is losing its mind. The world is watching.
Just know that you are bridge over troubled water.
And on December 10th, 2013, history is made. Tessanne Chin wins The Voice with the highest number of votes in the show's history. She beats runner-up Jackie Lee, who was only 16 years old, and third-place finisher Will Champlin. She becomes the first, and to this day, only, foreign-born winner of The Voice. Adam Levine gets his second winner.
Favorite moments on The Voice? It was coming up to season finale. I'm tired, Wayne was tired, right? Because you have a whole heap of work to do. And I come into the room and I said, Jesus Christ, me leave on the candle, right? Because I see a candle I burn. And then I bust the can and I say, Tammy.
Oh, yes.
And I just dissolved into tears.
But for Tessanne, this is vindication. This is proof. This is everything she'd been working for since she was 6 years old. The wins keep coming. Her debut single, Tumbling Down, written by Ryan Tedder of One Republic, drops and makes waves. January 2014, she's performing at the Rose Parade on top of the Voice float. Days later, she headlines a free concert in Kingston called Tessanne's Homecoming. Thousands show up. She's named the 2013 Caribbean Journal Artist of the Year. Summer 2014. She's headlining the Voice Summer Tour. She performs at the St. Lucia Jazz Festival, Reggae Sumfest. She's everywhere. July 1st, 2014, her major label debut album, Count on My Love, drops under Republic Records. It debuts at #1 on the Billboard Reggae chart. April 2015, she's performing at the 42nd Daytime Emmy Awards. May 2015, she's on stage at the National Memorial Day concert in Washington, D.C., covering Whitney Houston. She's living the dream, but behind the scenes, the nightmare is just beginning. Tessanne and Michael divorce after 4 years of marriage. The pressures, the distance, the constant demands. It all became too much. And when the marriage ends, something inside Tessanne breaks too. She retreats from the spotlight. Critics start questioning her momentum. Where's Tessanne? Why isn't she releasing music? Did she fall off? But they didn't know the truth. Tessanne wasn't falling off. She was falling apart. She almost quit music entirely. After everything, the childhood training, the years of hustling, the historic Voice win, she was ready to walk away. But then her family stepped in. Her sister Tammy, her parents, Richard and Christine, they reminded her why she started. They reminded her of that 6-year-old girl who fell in love with singing. They reminded her that music wasn't just her career. It was her identity. And slowly, Tessanne started to find herself again. Love finds Tessanne again. She marries Brandon Crooks, and this time, it's different. Brandon doesn't compete with her music. He supports it. He becomes her videographer, capturing her journey, her performances, her life, and then the most beautiful chapter begins. February 1st, 2020. Tessanne gives birth to her first daughter, Zaya Christine Crooks. For the first time in years, Tessanne feels complete, not because of a record deal or a TV win, but because of this tiny human who looks up at her with pure love. February 2nd, 2023. Her second daughter, Isla Denise Crooks, is born. Motherhood transforms Tessanne. She's no longer chasing fame. She's no longer trying to prove anything. She's making music on her own terms, for herself, for her family, for the love of it. Her father, Richard, still supports her at shows, emotionally present, just like he's always been. The full circle moment, priceless. October 2024. The announcement drops. Tessanne is working on her third studio album with Natural High Music. She's back, but this isn't a comeback. This is a continuation. December 3rd, 2024, she releases a Christmas single, Christmas is Better With You. December 15th, 2024, she stages her second annual Christmas production, Our Christmas Wish, performing alongside Boys de Seun, Men, and Lila Ike. She's touring, she's performing, she's creating, and she's doing it all while being a mother, a wife, and most importantly, herself. Her current net worth sits around $1 million, earned from music, tours, and TV appearances. But honestly, the real wealth is in what she's gained: peace, purpose, and perspective. So here's the thing about Tessanne Chin's story. It's not just about a girl from Kingston who won The Voice. It's about resilience. It's about a woman who faced culture shock, industry pressure, public scrutiny, and personal heartbreak, and still found a way to sing. From that little 6-year-old in Kathy Levy's performing arts school to the Voice crown, from a devastating divorce to the joy of motherhood, from nearly quitting music to reclaiming it on her own terms. Tessanne Chin's journey is proof that success isn't a straight line. She's a trailblazer, a record breaker, a foreign-born winner who showed the world that talent has no borders. But more than that, she's a survivor, and her voice, that powerful, soul-shaking, history-making voice, is still singing. What do you think? Did you know about Tessanne's secret struggle after The Voice? Drop a comment below. And if you want to hear more untold stories of music legends who almost gave it all up, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.